Hello, Potato! We've made it through another week, so it's time for a little weekend magic. And we do have some magic in the mail this week. We're going to take a look at the Minnie Mouse The Main Attraction, Series 11 of 12 items for the Jungle Cruise ride. And we have a couple other little things too, including a one Christmassy item, because 'tis the season. You gotta have something Christmassy in here, right? As much as I managed to have Haunted Mansion in every video in October, I should be able to find some holiday stuff to fit in 2 videos in December, right? Of course, we did all those ornaments back in the summer, so kind of bought all the Christmas stuff already. We're going to bookend with Minnie Mouse today. We're going to look at the Minnie Mouse items at the end, but first we're going to talk about the Minnie Mouse, The Main Attraction, Nighttime Fireworks and Castle Finale, Series 12 of 12. The last ones, the final ones, the end of the journey. So as Disney's done for at least the last couple of years, they've done the December release a week early. They did this last year with that series that I can't even remember the name of anymore. That's how impressive it ultimately was. And of course they did it with Mickey Mouse Memories back in 2018. And I think it's just because generally they don't want a line of people outside the store the week before Christmas, because they're going to be busy enough as it is. And of course this year it's not being done in stores, it's being done online only, so that's not as big of a factor. But I guess this will allow people who got selected for Merch Pass to maybe get their items in time for Christmas, as for the rest of us who didn't get Merch Pass, we'll have to presumably hope we get them before the new year. But yeah, they had Merch Pass again on Tuesday, and I went there to check it out. And I know there's some questions about why they've chosen to do the fireworks and the castle finale as the last part of the main attraction series. And I can see it. It's, fireworks have a grand finale. This series is the grand finale of the collection. But yeah, they could have done other rides. The Matterhorn's a fairly obvious one. Could have done maybe like Autopia or Snow White. There are other rides they definitely could have done instead of this. And even then, of course, you could have done something with the newly acquired licenses like Star Tours or Indiana Jones. But yep, they chose to do fireworks, and I can see it. It's maybe not what I would have chosen, but I can see it. At least they hit all the important rides. They hit Pirates, they hit Jungle Cruise, they hit Haunted Mansion. I don't have too many complaints about the content of the collection. I have plenty of complaints about acquiring the collection, but the content's okay. So yeah, they did Merch Pass. Of course, like the first half hour Merch Pass was up. It didn't work as usual. Instead of getting Minnie, it got Ralph. But eventually it was up, and we got in, and they had some really weird numbers this time around. They only had 3,400 plush. Why would you do so few plush in the Merch Pass? And then over 13,600 pins. So you would think that most people would be able to get the pins at least, right? Not necessarily. And then they had 7,200 ears. They had more than twice as many ears available as they had plush. And I know the ears are like probably the most popular thing in this collection, except for maybe the backpacks. But that's just a weird... That's just weird that they have more of those available than plush. And then 1,500 backpacks, which I signed up for the backpack. I signed up for all 4 of those items because, the 3 of them we collect. And the backpack, it's not the most hideous of the collection. It's interesting, this should have been a hip sack month, going by the pattern they established, but they did a backpack instead, probably because at some point they realized the hip sacks were hideous and nobody wears hip sacks anymore. And of course we skipped out on the mugs and the Magic Band because we don't do either of those. And in California, the Magic Bands don't do anything here. So eventually I got my entry submitted, and all it is then is the waiting game to Thursday when you wake up to that email that says, "We're sorry to let you know that you weren't selected for early access to the items in the Minnie Mouse, The Main Attraction, Nighttime Firework and Castle Finale series." Again, yep, didn't get anything again. Wife didn't get anything again. And so yeah, we'll be joining the fray on the 16th. With the rest of y'all. Hopefully it will go better than last time, because last time I just sit in that waiting room for like 40 minutes and eventually got in. My wife got in like 10 minutes, but we got the pieces we needed then. So that's what this video is about, right? So I suppose ultimately it's all good, but not a great experience. I kind of hope next year's collection is something that I'm not interested in. They haven't announced it yet. In 2018 they actually announced on the release of the last part of Mickey Mouse Memories that Disney Wisdom, that was what it was called, that Disney Wisdom would be the next series. And then last year, in 2019, I don't believe they specifically announced it would be Minnie Mouse, the main attraction, but they had hinted at it. That would be a Minnie Mouse thing. They didn't just say what it was, but it would be a Minnie Mouse thing. And yeah, this year I haven't seen anything suggesting what next year's item will be. And you know what? If I can't get it in stores, I'm kind of fine with that. Like I said, I hope it's something that I'm not particularly interested in. Alright, that's enough talking about Merch Pass. It's enough rambling on. So let's start out with something Christmassy. So here is our holiday-themed item for this video. It's the only Christmas thing we have today. And it's the D23 Mickey's Christmas Carol pin. I don't remember how much this costs. I don't think it says on it. Yeah, it doesn't. But it is a limited edition of 2,300. Yeah, I've taken out the plastic. So my wife had already opened it up anyways. She wanted to see if maybe the number it was on the pin itself. It isn't. But it's got the traditional Mickey pin backs. And yeah, this is something you could only buy if you were part of the D23 fan club, or presumably you want to buy it from a scalper. But I suppose if you're going to buy stuff like that from a scalper, you might as well just join D23 and put the extra money the scalper would have gotten towards your membership. And then get the magazine too. But it's a nice little pin. They've done a kind of interesting choice on the art style with the eyes. Kind of goes in that that criticism I frequently have about pins and detail. They've everything looks really nice, except for they've given them kind of these dead black eyes. I like they've included Scrooge on it. It's of course the scene from the very end of the movie's not right. It's like 26 minutes long, but end of the story. But it's very nice. It's not as heavy as it looks like it would be for how big it is, which is why it's only got the 2 pin backs. But it's a nice little pin. Not particularly glossy, not particularly fancy. Just straightforward, and it is what it is. And it's also, I believe, not available anymore. The D23 pins take a while to sell out because you have to be a gold member, but they do sell out eventually. But it's a nice pin, and it's like literally the only Christmas thing we have this week. So while we're looking at pins, let's take a look at these. So ShopDisney has been throwing some little badges into random packages, or I guess random packages, to try to maybe restore some of the Disney magic that ShopDisney has been sorely lacking this year. And my wife has managed to receive 2 of them. I have received none. Yep, she got the Frozen 2 Olaf. We're calling this Controlling What You Can When Things Feel Out of Control. And the Star Wars, The Force Awakens, Oh My Dear Friend, How I've Missed You, C-3PO pin. Hashtag ShopDisney, hashtag Disney Holiday Moments. And then hashtag Frozen Fan Fest, I guess just for the heck of it, because that's a hashtag they had a couple months back when they did the key release. And yeah, they're just cute little basic button pins. The back of the cards have free shipping codes, so I'm not going to flip them over and show you the backs, because they do appear to be unique. At least these 2 have different codes on them. So I don't know if every pin has a separate code, or if maybe each type of pin has one particular code that you could use as well. And since I don't know if you can or can't, I'm going to keep the codes to myself. But it's a nice little thing to find an extra thing in your package that you didn't pay for. It'd be nice if I could have gotten one. I guess there's still time. I don't know how long they're giving these out for, or how many they have. I know there's at least one other I've seen, but I don't remember what it is. Yes, I don't know how many of these they actually are doing, but we've managed to get 2 of them, so that's nice. Those are nice little items that are kind of indicative of what Disney really should do all the time, just occasionally throw one extra little thing. These probably cost pennies to make. Just throw an extra little thing in the package. Yes, Mr. Skullface is back, probably for the last time this year, because I don't think we have any more masks on order. But we got this in. We ordered this way back when they were doing the Make-A-Wish items. So when I ordered that Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey hat was part of this collection. It is a Spirit jersey mask, and obviously it's very different from the other ones. I haven't tried it on yet. As you can see, the package is still sealed. I want to say they were like $12.99 each, because they're by Spirit jersey, which, you know, to me, is one of the most massively overpriced things that ends up on ShopDisney. The Spirit jersey stuff is way overpriced. But I can't really slide them too much for it, because it sells out every time they put something up there. So clearly, it's just me that doesn't think they're worth it. Plenty of people do think they're worth it. So let's pop this on Scully and see what it looks like. So I've got the mask on Scully, and this is, as you can see, a much more shaped mask, formed mask than the normal Disney masks. It's also cotton, unlike the newer ones, which are all polyester. And honestly, I know I complained a lot originally about the polyester ones, being cheaper, but after having really worn them consistently for a couple months, they're actually, I think, a little better than the cotton ones. I like the thickness of the cotton ones, but they shrink up really badly in the wash. And we're not drying them. We're hanging them to dry. We're not putting them in the dryer. They're just shrinking in the wash. So given this is 100% cotton, I'm not sure I'm going to really put this into use. Just because I don't know if in the second wear it would still be like comfortable. Because it's also a lot tighter than the normal Disney ones. So I think if it starts to shrink up, that's going to really wear on my ear quite badly. Kind of in the way after about the third or fourth wash, the original cotton Disney masks have come to do. Which is why I don't really wear them anymore. But this is also a nice one. I believe this was for the partnership between Disneyland and Make-A-Wish, because they had a whole bunch of like shirts and jerseys and jackets and stuff that were released at the same time this was put up for pre-order. And it's nice. They had a Christmas one too, which is basically the same thing but in red. And we didn't order those because red. All right, now we're into the meat of things with Minnie Mouse, the main attraction items. Here are the pins, series 11 of 12. We have kind of a stylized version of the Jungle Cruise ride signage, which is kind of what I was hoping to see with my idea of an attraction-based collection to begin with, would be stuff geared more towards the ride signage. And then we have Minnie in her little outfit that the plush wears, and of course we have a pin version of the ears, which I'm going to say is a fairly accurate pin creation of it. And these were, of course, as always, $19.99, and there's text back here that you can't read because the pin backs are blocking it, so I will read it off of one of the other items. Voyage by tramp steamer down several major rivers in Asia, Africa, and South America of the Jungle Cruise. This Adventureland attraction opened in July 17th, 1955 in the Disneyland Park. On your excursion, you'll encounter audio, animatronics, jungle animals, wet water, and dry wit, courtesy of your skipper. And then it says more of the same, but in French. Yep, this is the second to last pin set. I'll be kind of interested to see in person the fireworks pins because they don't look bad. But it's nice pins. It's fits in standard with all the other ones in the set, and of course it's going to go into the binder with the other 10. And the binder is almost complete. It's not a binder. It's like an album, like a photo album style book. You've seen it. If you care, you've seen it. But yeah, it's going to go in there, and we'll probably never look at it again. Leaving the pins behind, we'll move on to not the backside of water, but to the ears. And yep, again, of course, got all the obnoxious tags and stuff hanging off of it. But they've done sequins again on the ears. Frankly, kind of gaudy looking cheetah print on the outside of the headband. It's a choice they made with this particular set to do a lot of cheetah print. I guess, I mean, they could have done zebra print or, I don't know, tiger print? I don't know. I guess the options aren't great, but just cheetah print to me seems particularly tacky. But it still kind of works here. I do like the thing on the ear. That's just plastic, not metal, although it looks pretty good. And then we have, I guess, in a challenge to make more and more fragile ears, we have some like feathers sticking off of it. The leaves are like a nice thick, like a foam. They had a couple months ago. We had another thing on the ears. I think it was actually on the plush itself that were the same kind of material. It's like a thin foam with a kind of slick, probably polyester padding on the outside. But yep, they're a nice collection. It's a nice set. We've almost got all of them except for the Tiki Room. We still need to get the Tiki Room. Backside doesn't have anything particular on it, just more continuation of the red and white stripes of the awnings on the boats. And yeah, nothing in between this time, nothing interesting particularly on the sides of the band itself. They're just cheetah print. But it's nice. Looking at it, it's not in like competition for my favorite. I kind of think that's still a pretty good fight between Haunted Mansion and Space Mountain, which kind of still leaning towards Space Mountain there. The first one, I think they set a really high bar on the first one, and while none of the years have been a disappointment, I would say that they maybe haven't quite reached that standard they set at the very beginning. And finally, here she is, the main lady herself. Our Minnie Mouse plush for Series 11 of 12, The Jungle Cruise. And I was kind of hoping they would put her just in more khaki. I like that it's there. They have some references to the cast member uniforms. But I guess I can understand why they've done the dress. The dress isn't bad. It's got kind of a nice little faux aged thing going on with it, with the off-colored white. And so yeah, it's reminiscent of the ride vehicles. Again, we've got the cheetah print, which I'm not a humongous fan of. I wasn't a fan of it on the ears, and I'm not a fan of it on her boots too. I think it kind of takes away from what the costume is otherwise setting up. The cheetah print just kind of pulls away from it. Although I would say it works okay on the hat. I would leave it as the hat band, but I'd replace the belt and the shoes with maybe like a faux leather or something, just to give it more something like I would expect a cast member to be wearing. And on her hat, of course, we have its own version of the bit on the ears. We just have the foam-covered, or the cloth-covered foam here, of the leaves and the feathers. And this one's kind of nice because a lot of times these earpieces, the way they stick them on there, they interfere with the ears themselves. And either the ear folds this over or it pushes the ear back. And this one didn't do that. And maybe that's just more down to them shipping it better. I don't know. But I do like her. She's definitely I'd say one of the better plush. It's a nice theme on her. I would almost give her maybe #1 slot if it wasn't for this. And honestly, if the Haunted Mansion one hadn't turned out pretty awesome. Also, the Space Mountain plushes too. None of the plushes have been bad. But one weird thing on her, though, I'm seeing now, she has these kind of weird wrinkles around her eyes. I guess maybe she's starting to show her age. Needs to get a little work done. But that's kind of, I don't think we've seen that on any of the plush so far. It's kind of a weird wrinkling up here. But everything else about her looks great. Oh, gotta do a tail check, right? Because that's been the question this year. There's been like 2 of them without tails. Oh, a little dust on there. And yes, she has a tail, but no bloomers. Again, I'm still not sure if there's a connection between the two or not. I want to say one of the ones without a tail has bloomers and one doesn't. Maybe the tail's inside the bloomers. I haven't checked that closely. But there she is, and that's going to wrap it up for this week. That's everything we've got to look at this week. Can we get her to look at the camera a little better? Probably not. She's a little stiff. That's probably as good as we're going to get. I guess I could raise the camera, but I'm not going to. Yep, that's it for this week. We have our Minnie Mouse the Main Attraction at Series 11. Hopefully, in 3 or 4 weeks from now, we will be looking at Series 12 in the new year. But who knows? And again, we're still trying to find a set of those tiki ears. Which, not having a whole lot of luck on that so far. But hopefully, as we get into the new year and the set is over, they will maybe go down in price as the flippers move on to the next thing and just want to get rid of the old stuff. Probably not. But we can hope, right? Oh, I hope you found this at all interesting. If you did, please give the video a like. And make sure you are subscribed to the channel and ring the little bell so you know when I post new videos. Which we still have another, almost 2 weeks of advent calendars to go. So that's a plus. Anyways, I do thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.